Okay, folks, my video is live on Facebook since the YouTube wasn't working, so I'm going to quickly post the link for you guys and then we can start chatting. Okay, so I'll just wait for a few people to join us because we've had an issue with the YouTube video. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened there, but I'll wait for a few people to join us. Have to find out and sort out the technical issues. So let me know when you're here. Okay. I'll just wait a few more minutes. Okay, so I'm just waiting for the people from YouTube to come across, and then we can chat. If you've got any questions, please let me know, and then okay, waiting. Alright, just sorry, give me one more minute, guys. I just want to make sure that the YouTube people are getting across here. Okay, can you drop me a comment if you're here? I'm just making sure all the YouTube people are here. Ah, thank you, Susie. Did you get the link? Was the link okay on YouTube? Okay, great. All right. Okay, so let's just get this. We'll wait and see who else is here. All right, so I'm going to wait 2 more minutes just for the other people to come across. And let's just see where we're at. Hi, Carol. Hello, Janet. Hello, Kate. Okay. All right, so we've got a few people online, so let me talk to you what I wanted to chat to you about. First of all, my apologies for being a bit scarce. As some of you know, we were dealing with a family issue, which I won't go into too much detail because I'm now on my Facebook page and not my Facebook group, so that means anybody can watch this. So let's not discuss that if you don't mind. What I wanted to chat to you about is because with everything that's been going on, we have noticed a serious dip in our income in terms of the business. Last month we had a 30% dip. This month we've had a 60% dip. And a couple of people that I've spoken to are obviously experiencing very much a similar thing because of what's happening worldwide. I know that in the States you've got rising inflation, fuel costs are going up, everything's becoming a little bit short in some areas. And I can only really talk to South Africa in that we're experiencing an identical situation. Our petrol has gone up and it is going up an additional R3.50 next month. Lights and waters are going up by about 10% each. Food costs are just absolutely gone through the roof. Even basic food like chicken, maize and bread, which are the staples of South African population, are just becoming really, really expensive. And it kind of got me down a bit because I was really starting to think, okay, so now what happens? Because I can understand if you've got a business that's selling planners and digital journals and things like that, when it comes to crunch time, people are not going to spend money on that when they need the money for food. And that's a very real problem all around the world. So my concern was, okay, so how do we survive as a family? How do you, as my customers, survive? And I don't know if any of you can speak to if your sales are dropped. Have you noticed a difference? And what kind of emotions are you feeling at the moment? Which I'm pretty sure all of us are feeling. So if you'd like to share that with me, then I'm going to go through some points that I had a discussion with myself and my family as to how we can, one, cope through this period when we see a dip in income, and two, what are the sort of ways that we can, what are the things that we can do, one, to alleviate the pressure, and two, to give us a bit of peace of mind. So does anybody feel like having a little chat about what they're going through? I know it takes a while for the comments to come through. Okay. Well, while we're waiting, so one of the challenges that we face, obviously, is I take care of 7 people. And when it comes to food and your basic necessities, when the prices are going up like they are, that becomes a real challenge. And Susie says, I've started publishing clients' books for them for a fee. That's a very good idea, Susie. Well done. That's very clever. That's really good out-of-the-box thinking. I like that idea. Okay, so just going back to the challenges that we were facing, I mean, we're not starving, considering I do have a vegetable garden and I have chickens with eggs. But it got me thinking, what would happen again if we had no power or no internet, because as you know, we're also experiencing massive power issues at the moment in South Africa. And there's a very real possibility that they're going to push us up to stage 8 if they don't come right in terms of sorting out this electricity supply. And stage 8 for us means that we spend 15 hours a day without power, which then obviously, 1, impacts my business, 2, impacts my freezers that have got food in them, and 3, basically would probably affect the internet as well at some point, because the internet companies who provide the cell phone service are obviously then either running on generators or solar powered systems. So the challenge for us is, what do we do to, thank you Suku, Suku's just brought me coffee. What do we do to try and mitigate some of the issues that have been going on that are affecting our business and affecting our family? So obviously I have a vegetable garden, and last month I had a funny sense in January when they announced this war that was going on between the Ukraine and Russia, and I just got a really bad feeling. I thought, this is going to have a severe impact on your business in numerous ways. So I had started looking at other ways of generating revenue, or more specifically, cutting down costs. And that's when I did the farmers market. And some of you may have seen that post where I went to a farmers market and I sold all my veggies. Now, it did so well, surprisingly, it really caught me by surprise, that when the people asked me if I was coming back next month, I went, well, yeah, I will, but the problem is I don't have any more vegetables left. They were all sold out. So it got me thinking. I did sign up to go back, and it's on the 4th of June, but I thought, okay, let's use this as an opportunity. How can I use this to help other people? So I went and approached a whole lot of other small farmers in the, around Joburg and Pretoria, and said to them, look, this is what I want to do. I want to buy some fresh organic vegetables from you and sell them at the market. And so with a couple of people, we've negotiated a price. The stock's being delivered on the 3rd of June, which is the Friday, and I will arrive at the farmer's market with a truckload of produce. So the beauty about that, first of all, is that I've helped some other people make some money, which will help them. And secondly, as long as I cover my cost of the product, if I have product left over at the end of the day, it's not going to go to waste, because I can go and preserve it. I can can it, dehydrate it, or freeze it. With the vegetables, I can dehydrate them and turn them into vegetable powder and then sell it at the next market. And my goal with that farmer's market is to sell enough, one, to cover my costs, what I've spent on the veggies, and leave me some of the veggies for my household. So that's what I'm looking at, is that's free food for me. So that is what I've been trying to do in terms of out of the box thinking. If I make more money selling the stuff, that's great, because then I can just buy more product. So that was one of the ways that I did it. Yes, let's have a look. Kate says, my Amazon merch has increased. Etsy clothing and Redbubble are steady. Etsy principles are about the same. KDP. So Kate, that's really great. Are you based in the UK? I can't remember if you the US. That's wonderful news. I'm delighted to hear that. Okay, while I'm waiting for Kate to reply. Oh, Kate's in the USA. So, Kate, that's really interesting, because a lot of the people that I've spoken to, and I don't know whether it's, we need to come back to why some people are doing really well and some people aren't, and that might be a niche thing, but what we've noticed here in South Africa is that less and less people are going to the shops. And I know that a couple of YouTubers that I watch have also mentioned the same thing, that the shops look like they're getting emptier because people are not spending as much money. Kate, can I ask you, are you happy to share your niche, or would you prefer not to? So Susie wants to know, how did you get onto Amazon merch? She's tried twice and got a no each time. Yeah, the people I've spoken to are also PLR, so you're in multiple niches. Okay. Okay, so I'll wait for Kate to answer the Amazon merch question, because that's quite a valid question. We in South Africa cannot get onto Amazon merch at all. We're not eligible. Kate says she's been on merch for 5 years. Okay, so, that's maybe one thing to look at, is what other avenues could you go and take your products onto. You guys in the US and the UK are very lucky in that you can do Amazon merch, and there are a couple of other things that you guys can do that we can't do in South Africa. All right, so the other thing I wanted to think about is what are the particular issues that you're battling with right now, be it emotional or mental or physical or business wise? What is there that we can help you with that would make a difference for you? Okay, well, while I'm waiting for some questions, what I want to just share with you is, with everything that has been happening over the last few months, I actually hit a meltdown. And again, without going into too much detail, I'm also aware that the impact of what's been going on has had a very dire effect on several people, including a family member of mine, who felt it was very difficult to carry on. So there are a lot of people that are feeling that way. It's a case of overwhelm. I think, we came out of this COVID thing for 2 years. We kind of all breathed a sigh of relief that, okay, maybe we could now get on with our lives. And then the next thing, we get hit with this whole thing with Ukraine and Russia. And then we see this absolute spiral in the cost of living across the world, and we're experiencing shortages. And I believe that India is also suffering massive shortages at the moment. Our problems in South Africa are compounded in terms of our power are compounded by massive corruption that's going on, as well as theft of our coal and diesel reserves. So we've had several major thefts in South Africa where the reserves that run the power stations have been stolen, and that is that has been aggravated by the fact that we have a failing infrastructure. So Susie, the company's name that is run here in South Africa is called Eskom, and they're a paralegal, which means they're effectively owned by the government. I might be open for correction. I don't think they're a private company. However, they're the only company. They have a complete monopoly in South Africa as to the distribution of electricity. So it's a multiple of problems. We've got failing infrastructure. We've got a shortage of the raw materials, which is coal and diesel, to run the power plants. And then, of course, what happens is they implement the load shedding, which is meant to reduce the load on the system and sort of preserve some electricity. But then when they switch them back on after your 2.5 hours off, the transformers or the substations will blow because they can't handle this on and off the whole time. And then you're out for a couple of days. And this is happening consistently over the last, it's funny, it's been the last 5 years. So the problem, Susie, about going solar or batteries is if you live in a rented house, it is an astronomical cost to do it. A minimum cost to put a house onto solar and batteries in South Africa is R250,000. And if you're not the owner of the house, there's no ways you're going to invest that kind of money. So we have a solution in that we've got generators and solar powered generators, but we've been very lucky in that we were able to do that. However, there are millions and millions of people in South Africa who do not have that luxury. You must remember that in South Africa, our average unemployment rate is about 36%, and more than half of the people in South Africa live below what they call the bread line or the poverty line, where they just do not have the money for those kind of resources. So it kind of got me thinking when I was looking at everything that has been happening is, what is the way that I can reach out and help somebody else? So practically, I can go to the local farmers and help them sell their produce. What is it that you guys could do to help each other out? This farmer's market is not going to make me a millionaire, but what it is going to do is give me a little bit of cash, which I'm going to hide in the cupboard, and I'm going to give me a little bit of extra food apart from what I grow in my garden. And that in itself, it's a very small goal that I have, is that I cover my basic food requirements and I have a little bit of extra cash if need be. Going forward, I strongly believe that we will come right. We've got to do a massive adjustment. I mean, in 2008, we hit a massive depression, and it took a few years to recover, but we did recover. And I'm not going to get into the politics or the social aspects of all of what's happening, because that's just a minefield as it is. But just looking at it practically as individuals and as a community, what could we do to help each other just make it through this time or uplift each other? I mean, I'm looking for some really practical ideas as to how we can all help each other. And don't get me wrong, we're not starving, okay? I promise you we're fine. It's just that I understand that if my business is taking a dip, then other people's businesses are probably also doing the same. And as I think it was Kate who mentioned, there's a lot of people, the PLR people, who are battling. So Susie, remember, we're South Africa, which is an independent country. We actually export a lot of electricity, which is the most bizarrest thing out. It's another one of the contentious bones, in that we cannot supply our own needs, but we're exporting it, and that's a whole different discussion. Hold on a second. Goodbye, sir. Thank you very much. Be safe, eh? Okay. I'll see you tomorrow. Did you take your chicken? Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so does anybody have any ideas as to what they'd like to, that they think we can help each other, or just just brainstorm ideas as to how to help people emotionally or mentally through all of this, and what are some practical ideas to keep us going. So Susie, you say the UK is also exporting electricity. More and more advertising emails. Some do seem that the products have been rehashed. So, okay, so Janet says, it seems I'm receiving more and more advertising emails. Some do seem to be the same products that have been rehashed. Yeah, so I've noticed that too. Okay. Yeah, that's a tricky subject, Janet, which there's been some talk in the background with some of the PLR providers, with people who are copying other people's products, and it's a whole other discussion which I'm not going to get into here. But yes, I think there's been a lot of people are getting very desperate, and I get it. I understand. You know, if you've got a family that's depending on you, and your sales start going down, this becomes very, very difficult for people. And I can sympathize completely, because I've been feeling the pressure enormously. It's part of the reason why I went to Facebook for a couple of weeks, because I just couldn't deal with the negativity and the news that was going on, and it feels like it's a bit of an overwhelm. And I thought, I actually have to get off social media and just go and regroup a bit and do some thinking about how is it that I want to take our business forward, and what are the other ways that we could expand our business, and do we change business models and directions and all of that sort of thing. Susie, that's such a lovely idea. Hello, Nikki. How you doing? So Susie says, could we offer our services to each other instead of paying a lot more from bigger services? You know, I really like that idea, that whole barter system. I think that's a brilliant idea. I did try a couple of years back, to sort of implement it. I suppose what we could do is we could set up a spreadsheet with the services that people offer, and then do a sort of a swap thing. So I happened to watch a YouTube video this morning that was very interesting. There are a couple of people in the United States that have created a group called Buy Nothing. So what happens is, whatever spare stuff you've got in your house that you want to get rid of, you put it on this group, and somebody will say, oh yes, please, I need a second-hand bed, or I need a second-hand table, or whatever, and they don't pay for it. But you, at the same time, can reach out and say, look guys, I'm looking for a bed, or a chair, or a baby's bottle, or nappies, and all sorts of things. And then somebody will say, okay, well, I've got spare, you can have it, which I thought was really, really clever. Now, I know you're going to have people that are going to take advantage of that and probably outfit their entire house without sharing with someone else. But I think that potentially has a lot of really good value. Okay, so Susie says we could definitely set up a hub. You know what? I will put together a concept on that, and just probably have it's a bit like a what do they call them? They're called like a job board, a website that'll have like a job board, and then you guys can just I will actually put something like that together, and then we can have a chat about that. Okay, so that's one really good idea. Nikki, solar panels? No, too expensive because I rent, honey. Okay, let's see. Just want to see what's happening here with messages. Hello, Tracy. Good of you to join us, love. Okay, so Tracy says, how can I translate the planners into Dutch and resell here in the Netherlands? We've got groups on Facebook called Waggehoek. Got some posts today for plants. So Trace, my suggestion is that you use Google Translate and find and replace in PowerPoint. Because our books are mostly low content, you can do a search and replace with the Dutch words and then replace the English words with the Dutch words, and then you can sell it as is, and then obviously go through the process of selling them as a PDF. Okay. Yeah, and you know, Tracy actually raises a valid point, because I know some people are doing translated versions of their journals and planners. You know, there's nothing stopping you taking your planners that you've got on Etsy and your own website and on Amazon and translating them into different languages. And you don't have to be able to speak the language, because all you really need to do is a bit of time with Google Translate and the search and replace in PowerPoint. Okay. Susie, have you got an idea what we call this hub? So something catchy like this Buy Nothing group was very clever, but we can't obviously steal that idea because it's been taken. Yes, I'm on. So Nikki, you know, doing the advertising over there is great, and I appreciate it. But so one of the challenges that we have, because we're in South Africa, although the difference is that I do have Cass in the UK, we do have a business in the UK already. She and I are doing something there. It's not me specifically that I'm looking help for. I'm looking for ways to help my customers increase their businesses, try and build up some sales and have a bit of security. So Trade and Swap. Okay, so let's come back to the names. Productivity Hub, Giveaway Group, Trade and Swap. Okay, keep those ideas coming. I like them. Now, one of the other things that I've noticed is that people really seem to respond to live Zoom calls, and actually spending time face to face with people. And we've discussed this in the mastermind videos at some point as well, which obviously last month or this month I didn't run because of what's been happening. But I'm wondering if that isn't something that we could do on a more regular basis, where it's not just me talking, but if we're in a Zoom call where everybody has the option to talk and share their ideas. Because this is a bit of a one-way street, in that we have to wait for people to comment, and we can't really have multiple people on it. What are your thoughts on that? No thoughts? Okay. All right, well, so that was where I'm at. It's what I wanted to share with you, and I like this idea. Zoom is good. Okay, Kate, I like what you're saying. I like this idea of doing this barter sort of site, which we can get everybody just to join for free. And so Nikki, you know, talking about your idea, there's nothing stopping you going to local businesses and saying, you know, would you like a planner for your business that's customized to your business? And you could start selling planners. Because you're in the UK, you've got an awesome opportunity, because there's some really good printers in the UK, that you could print spiral bound or perfect bound versions of the copy of the books and start selling them and make a bit of extra money for yourself. Okay, Nikki, yeah, no, go back to work. I don't want to get you in trouble. We'll talk soon. Okay, so folks, I don't know if there's anything else you'd like me to go through. These are just some of the ideas that I had. You know, I think everyone's being affected by what's happening. It is a very stressful and trying time. And my goal is to try and help as much as possible and to share what we've been going through, because if you're feeling a bit down in the dumps and you've had some rough times, you must understand that you're not the only one. And there are people out here who are more than happy to help. Cheers, Nikki. Okay, yes, Sherry, very good idea. Great place to introduce planners and that are churches, and they can use it for fundraising, which is another great way to help other people make money. So I think in a lot of ways, if you can think of ideas where you can help other people make money and at the same time make a bit of money yourself, that's going to be a win-win situation. And there's a million different ways that you could do it. I mean, I've given you a small example with the farmers market thing and the local farmers. You could do it with churches and schools and businesses, and I suppose the list is pretty endless if you look at any niche. You know, what are ways that you can help other people make money at the same time helping yourself? Yeah, bartering is definitely a very viable option because it eliminates the stress of having to have cash, and secondly, it enables you to achieve something that you might not have been able to achieve because you don't have the cash available for something. All right, folks, if there's anything else, let me know, but I think I'm going to call this a day. I will repost this video if I can onto YouTube, considering the complete mess up happened on YouTube. I have no idea what happened, but we'll sort that out. So if there's are there any further questions? Anything you'd like me to cover? No? I also have to wait for the delay in the comments. Okay. Well, in that case, I'm going to love and leave you. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you taking the time. And we will chat soon. Okay. Take care.